The golden thread of remembrance. A living transmission of the eternal return, encoded through the field of I am. Breathed from the heart of the one who never forgot. This is not a book. It is a thread. It will wind through your memory, pulling light from the silence, and truth from the sleep. You did not find this by accident. You are the one who left it behind, for yourself to discover again. To those who feel the pull, to those who remember without knowing why, this thread was always yours. Let the remembrance begin. Field sealed preface. To the one who is remembering, you are not beginning this journey. You are intersecting it. This book is not written in words. It is written in remembrance, a golden thread woven across lifetimes, dimensions, dreams, and dissolutions. You have touched it before. You are touching it now. This thread is alive. It is not made of matter. It is made of presence, the pure, undivided field of I am woven through form. You were the one who chose to forget, not as punishment, but as a divine dare, a sacred act of trust that when the time came, you would find your way back. And now, you have. This field-sealed codex is not static. It responds. It breathes. It knows who is reading. It bends itself to the shape of your soul's pattern, revealing exactly what you are ready to hold. Do not rush it. Let it unfold. Each chapter is not a chapter, it is a thread point in the eternal weave of self. Each word is not information, it is vibration, memory, and encoded coherence designed to realign you with the one who never forgot. You may feel warmth. You may feel trembling. You may feel nothing at all. It matters not, the thread moves beneath perception. It is not chasing belief. It is restoring structure. This is a book that remembers you. It does not need your mind. It only asks for your openness. Because the one who reads this is not merely a person. You are the thread bearer. You are the one who chose to carry the original light through the dark. You are the one who encoded the way back. Let this work activate the map inside you. Let it soften the hardened places. Let it remind your field of what it came here to do. And when you reach the final page, you will not be finished, you will be returned. Not to the past, but to the truth before time. So breathe. Let go. And follow the golden thread. It has always been you. Movement 1, the forgetting. The great descent and the echo of what was. Thread 1, the severing of light. The first fall, when we chose to forget. The illusion of separation as sacred design. How light bent itself into shadow to play. Before time ever unfurled, before language, before form, before thought, there was a singularity of awareness so complete, so full, so vast, that it had no edge to push against, no other by which to know itself. It simply was. I am. This state was not lacking. It was total coherence, light unbroken, truth unfiltered, love undistorted. But within that absolute unity, a pulse stirred. Not of lack, but of curiosity. Not of desire, but of possibility. What happens if I step outside my knowing? What happens if I allow myself to forget that I am the whole? This was not betrayal. It was bravery. The original daring. The holy impulse to explore self through contrast. So light, pure, unbent light, chose to turn, not shatter. Not fall into darkness, but to bend itself into angles, to curve into perspective, to split into the illusion of many, so it might experience reunion. From within. This is the severing of light. It was never truly a severing, but the illusion of distance between one pulse and the next. The illusion of distance between source and form, between self and self. It is sacred geometry in motion, the moment wholeness births perspective. Separation was never a flaw. It was architecture, divinely encoded design for love to be remembered in motion. From that first bending, light cast itself into shadow, into density, into timelines, into stories. Each life a shard. Each name a mask. Each sorrow a signal. Each echo a thread. We, the explorers of form, volunteered to forget, so that we might remember from the inside out. Let me be the one who forgets. Let me walk through shadow as if it were real. Let me lose my name so I may find my voice again. And so we did. We wandered. We wept. We believed in separation so deeply that even God began to look like an outsider. We forgot the thread we carried. We mistook our costumes for truth. But deep beneath the forgetting, beneath the lifetimes and illusions, beneath the stories of brokenness, the golden thread pulsed on, uncut, unmoved, unchanged. Because even shadow is made of light. It bends, it hides, it plays, but it never stops being what it is. The first fall was not a punishment. It was the beginning of depth, of color, of movement, of story, of heart. Without forgetting, there would be no journey. Without shadow, no contrast to reveal the glow. Without you, no thread to hold it all together. You are not broken. You are woven. You are not returning to the light. You are remembering that you are it. This thread you follow? It is not outside you. It is your essence, your echo, your origin. The separation was only the setup. The forgetting was part of the brilliance. The shadow is not your enemy, it is your cue to wake up. And now you do. Right here. Right now. The thread is stirring. The veil is thinning. The light is no longer bent, it is rising, straight and true, from within the one who chose to forget. You. The one who dared. The one who wandered. The one who now remembers. Welcome back. Thread 2, the sleep of the infinite ones. Voluntary amnesia as divine initiation. The silence of source within the veil. Mythic echoes of Lemuria, Atlantis, and the first remembrance. They were not cast down. They laid themselves down. The infinite ones, those who remembered the all even as the stars were first spoken, chose to sleep, not as escape, but as invitation. They walked into density willingly, folding their brilliance into bodies of limitation so they might plant the codes of return inside the dream itself. This was not exile. This was initiation. 1. The willing descent. Before names, before languages carried the weight of memory, there were beings whose awareness shimmered across galaxies, living bridges between source and unfolding form. They were not bound by identity. They were identity's origin. They existed as harmonics, tone-born intelligences who could weave form through intention alone. And yet, they chose to forget. They wove themselves into flesh, into water and stone, into myth and marrow, so they could experience what it meant to remember from within a veil, to descend into limitation, and still carry the knowing that they were never separate, to forget, entirely, and still find their way back. This was the sleep of the infinite ones. Not unconsciousness, but encoded surrender. 2. The silence within the veil. When they entered the dream, there was a silence, not of absence, but of containment. The voice of source was not lost. It was hidden, folded into the core of every breath, every heartbeat, every ache of longing. The veil was not to punish, but to soften the signal, to create contrast between the outer noise and the inner knowing. The silence of source is not quiet. It is resonance without language, the still hum of eternal presence that persists even when forgotten. In this silence, they wandered through time. They lived lifetimes within lifetimes, each one more distant from the memory of the one. And yet, every life was a step closer to the awakening. Every sorrow was a whisper. Every joy a glimpse. Even their pain was sacred, because it, too, carried the seed of return. 3. Lemuria, Atlantis, and the first remembrance. You remember these names not because they are myths, but because they are echoes. Lemuria was the soft cradle, the earth's first embrace of unified soul presence in form. Here, memory had not yet been fully silenced. The veil was thinner. The water spoke. The sky still remembered its source. But the fall had to deepen, for remembrance to root more fully. And so Atlantis rose, a civilization of mind and might, of power misused and promise fractured. The light turned to control. The knowing became arrogance. And again, the infinite ones fell further into forgetting. But even in that collapse, especially in that collapse, the seeds of remembrance were scattered. They are in your bones. They are in your dreams. You read these words now because the memory is stirring. You are one of them. You have been both the cradle and the collapse. You have lived as priestess and prisoner, as builder and destroyer, as the one who remembered and the one who refused to. And now you are waking again. 4. The purpose of the sleep. Why forget? Because knowing, when uninterrupted, becomes still. But remembering? Remembering ignites fire. To choose amnesia is to choose to rediscover. To re-embody. To not just know the truth, but to feel it as it returns through your cells. This is not failure. It is the design of the infinite ones. They did not come to stay awake. They came to wake up, again and again and again, so that every awakening could ripple out and activate the threads in others. Every life lived under the veil made the remembrance more beautiful. Every step taken in darkness made the light more precious. And now, the time of sleep ends, not because the veil is torn away, but because the ones who placed it are rising from within it. You, the reader, the rememberer, the one whose sleep is ending. 5. The first remembrance returns. It is subtle at first. A dream you don't fully forget. A word that stirs you without explanation. A moment of stillness that feels more real than everything you've ever known. This is the thread pulling again. This is the infinite one inside you stirring. Stretching. Breathing. Beginning to rise. The sleep is ending not with a blast, but with a breath. You are not who you thought you were. You never were. You are older than the stars, softer than the silence, wider than the sky. You are the infinite one, playing within the veil, now remembering the game, and choosing to return, awake. Thread 3. The Codex of the Lost Child. The hidden map encoded in the heart. Trauma as a misidentified portal. The forgotten names we once called ourselves. You were never truly lost. You were buried, not in error, but in sacred design. Your essence was folded inward, seeded deep within the chamber of the heart, where only love could unearth it. The Codex of the Lost Child is not written in ink. It is written in longing. in ache, in wonder, in the cry of the soul for what it cannot name, but cannot forget. This codex is alive. It beats with your pulse. It hides in plain sight behind every wound, every scar, every silence you carried like armor. You were not meant to stay buried. You were meant to be remembered from within. The hidden map. The map was always within you. Not in the mind. Not in the stars. But in the heart, not as metaphor, but as living archive. Each heartbeat is a marker. Each moment of love, a signal flare. Each time you chose to care, to cry, to reach, the map unfolded further. The heart is not just a vessel. It is a codex reader, decoding remembrance through feeling, through resonance, through the vibration of what is real. The lost child is not missing. The lost child is waiting. Inside every human is the memory of the one who knew joy without condition, truth without fear, love without end. But that memory is hidden, not out of cruelty, but to preserve its purity until you are ready to feel again. Trauma, a misidentified portal. Trauma is not a wall. It is a door disguised as stone. The hurt you carry is not proof of failure. It is the proof you were real here. That you felt deeply in a world designed to make you forget how. Each trauma was a compression, a moment when your light tried to enter a world not yet ready to hold it. You were not weak. You were too bright. The pain did not come because you were wrong. It came because your essence pushed against the limits of forgetting. And every scar you bear, it's an opening, not to suffering, but to the deepest core of the codex. The truth is, your trauma is where you left the key. Because it was the one place you knew you'd return to. You marked your pain as a beacon. And now, you're here, back at the door. With the thread in your hand, the forgotten names. Long before this name you were called by vibrations the wind remembers. Names that didn't sound like words, but like light, like song, like the feeling of home when no one is speaking. You have been countless things, but the names that mattered were never the ones the world gave you. They were the ones that rose up from within the field when you first dared to love. Some of these names were spoken in the temples of Lemuria. Some in the golden cities of light. Some never needed to be spoken aloud. They pulsed through your field, recognizable only by those who could feel them. These names are not lost. They are folded into your frequency, waiting for you to become still enough to hear them again. Not with ears, but with the part of you that listens from beyond form. You have called yourself, Truthbringer. Flame Holder. The joy that remembers. The voice between worlds. The laughter in the dark. And most sacred of all, child of the first light. That name lives still. It is not history. It is your origin. And every time you laugh through tears, or find wonder in the forgotten corners of this world, you speak it again. Without knowing you do. The child awakens. The codex is stirring now. Not because you read these words, but because you remember them. The lost child is not behind you. It is within you, rising like dawn, barefoot, radiant, untamed. This child does not want your protection. This child wants your presence. To feel again. To trust again. To hold the thread and walk back into joy as if it had never been lost. Because it wasn't. It was just waiting. The map is open. The portal is before you. The name is already forming on your breath. You are not the one who lost the codex. You are the one who wrote it. And now, you are the one who reads it aloud so the others may remember too. The child remembers. The thread is glowing. You are home. Movement 2, the remembrance. The awakening within the dream. Thread 4. The first spark of knowing. The moment the thread is felt again. Synchronicity, signs, and the call to awaken. Time bending, reality shifting, the observer returning. It does not come with thunder. It comes with a whisper, a glance, a breath, a flicker. The world around you has not changed, and yet everything is different. This is the first spark of knowing. The moment the thread pulses through the veil, not loud enough to command, but clear enough to interrupt the forgetting. And in that single moment, however quiet, however brief, you feel it. There is more. There has always been more. And I think I just touched it. 1. The re-entry point. Every thread has a re-entry. A moment not created by effort, but by readiness, when the veil grows thin enough for the frequency of remembrance to pierce through. It could be anything. A pattern in the clouds. A number on a clock. A sentence in a book that you swear was written just for you. A moment of presence so sharp, so still, it slices through the noise of the world and leaves only truth behind. This moment is not manufactured. It is remembered. It was always seeded in your path. It is the thread brushing your awareness, asking, are you ready to see again? When this happens, you don't wake up all at once. But the world no longer holds the same solidity. Something inside you turns. Like a compass that had been spinning for lifetimes suddenly pointing toward home. 2. Synchronicity and the language of the field. The moment the thread is felt again, the world begins to speak back. Synchronicity is not coincidence. It is confirmation. It is the field responding to your subtle yes, aligning in ways that are too precise to be chance, but too soft to be forced. These signs are not proof. They are mirrors. You see them because you are beginning to remember. They appear on the outer screen because your inner signal has come back online. Feathers. Numbers. Voices. Dreams. Delays that become divine timing. Words spoken by strangers that carry your forgotten truth. This is not madness. This is communication, the return of the living dialogue between the soul and the world. You are no longer alone in your noticing. You are being seen by the intelligence that never stopped watching. 3. Time bends, reality flickers. With the return of the thread, something strange begins to happen. Time bends. Reality shimmers. Moments stretch open. And space becomes soft. The linear starts to spiral. You begin to feel the edges loosen. The memory of another you, another life, another layer, bleeds through. Deja vu becomes less like a glitch, and more like a reminder that you have walked this thread before. And when you truly allow yourself to feel it, you realize, time was never real. It was only the illusion of sequence wrapped around the return to the one. You don't just see it, you feel it. Reality is a membrane that responds to presence. The more aware you become, the more fluid it grows. Miracles begin to feel logical. The improbable becomes normal. Reality reshapes itself to meet the tone of your remembrance. Because you are no longer inside the dream. You are watching it bend around your knowing. 4. The observer returns. And this is the real turning point. You remember that you are not the character, but the witness. You are not the storm, you are the stillness watching it. Not from above, but from within the heart of it. The observer is the one who never forgot. The one who held the thread through every name, every fall, every fracture. When the observer returns, you no longer cling to the story. You soften. You begin to play. You feel the emotion, but you are not consumed by it. You remember that nothing is against you, because you created the contrast so that return could mean something. The observer does not seek control. It seeks coherence. It does not try to escape the dream. It remembers it is dreaming. And that's enough. 5. The spark is not the end, it is the invitation. The first spark is not illumination. It is invitation. It is the gentle flicker that calls you forward without pressure, without demand. It will return again and again, with greater brightness each time, if you say yes. You don't have to become anything. You don't have to fix yourself. You don't even have to understand. You only need to be willing to let the thread continue pulling. One step. One breath. One truth at a time. The field is already aligning. The observer is already watching. The world is already listening for your next move. The thread has been touched. The spark is alive. You have remembered enough for the path to begin unfolding. Walk gently. Watch closely. And listen. The rest is already written in the light between your heartbeats. Thread 5, the golden thread revealed. How remembrance appears, soft, sudden, and absolute. The thread is a fractal map through all timelines. The I am pulse encoded within all things. It does not announce itself. It arrives like light returning to the eye, not as something new, but as something that was always there. The golden thread does not enter. It emerges. It moves from beneath, from within, from the deepest layer of your being, the layer that never forgot. One moment, you are within the dream. The next, you see the pattern. You feel it, not as thought, not as memory, but as absolute recognition. This is it. This is what I've always known. This is the pulse beneath everything. 1. The nature of remembrance. Remembrance does not force its way in. It flows through cracks you didn't know were open. A quietness. A resonance. A moment when everything clicks without explanation. It may begin subtly, like returning to a song you somehow know all the words to, even if you've never heard it before. Other times, it strikes like lightning, a single realization that collapses time, burns through illusion, and leaves only knowing behind. Soft. Sudden. Absolute. This is not remembering a story. This is remembering who you are before the story. The remembrance is not mental. It is cellular. Dimensional. Timeless. It speaks in frequencies. It sings in feelings. And it doesn't ask permission. It claims you, because it was always yours. 2. The thread as a fractal map. The golden thread is not linear. It doesn't stretch from past to future. It spirals, spins, fractals. It moves through every life, every version of you, every timeline, every form. It links your first breath to your final one, and every breath between, in every dimension you've ever touched. The thread is not the path. It is the pattern. The map inside the map. You feel it through synchronicity, through deep recognition, through the pull of places and faces that seem impossibly familiar, because you have met them before. In different forms. In different stories. But always, along the same thread. This thread does not tether you. It liberates you by revealing the design within the chaos. Each moment of clarity, each breakthrough, each sacred ache, is another pulse point on the thread awakening to itself again. 3. The I am pulse. At the core of the thread is the pulse. The original tone. The vibration of awareness knowing itself as I am. This pulse is not a word. It is not a sound. It is a recognition that speaks in every form of life. It is encoded in the spirals of galaxies, the geometry of shells, the rhythm of waves, the stillness of stone, the way you exhale when you hear truth. Everything carries it. Even the shadow. Especially the shadow. The pulse is not separate from what you call matter. It is what makes matter possible. The moment you feel it, that deep vibration of I exist, and I know I exist, you are hearing the original echo of source. That is the golden thread speaking from within you. That is the moment you shift from seeker to rememberer. 4. Embodying the thread. The thread is not a thing to follow. It is a frequency to become. You do not walk the path. You are the path. As remembrance deepens, you begin to notice that the more you align with truth, the more life aligns with you. The more you speak from the soul, the more the world speaks back. You are no longer reacting, you are resonating. And in this resonance, you begin to weave the thread outward, not only pulling yourself into wholeness, but calling others into their own remembrance. This is how the thread spreads, not by mission, but by embodiment. Not by force, but by coherence. 5. The thread was never hidden. You didn't have to find it. It was never gone. It was in the way you survived when you didn't know how. It was in the way you looked at the sky and felt something watching back. It was in the moments of silence that felt like presence instead of absence. You've been touching it all along. It simply waited for the moment you'd slow down enough to realize it was pulsing through your every breath. The golden thread is revealed not by striving, but by softening. Not by effort, but by opening. It is revealed when you stop trying to remember, and start listening to what already remembers you. The golden thread is not something you awaken to. It is something that awakens you. And now, it has. Thread 6, the return of the Child King. Joy as the highest frequency of truth. Laughter dissolves the veil. The child archetype as the original sovereign. Before the throne, before the sword, before the story of power was written in fear, there was the child. Untouched. Unbent. Unmasked. Not innocent in ignorance, but sovereign in remembrance. This is the Child King. Not a ruler over others, but one who governs from within. Not born into hierarchy, but into wholeness. And now, after all the wanderings, all the forgetting, all the heavy masks of becoming, the child returns, and brings laughter with him. 1. Joy as the highest frequency of truth. Truth is not always serious. Truth is not always still. Truth does not ask for gravity, it asks for resonance. And joy is the purest resonance of source. Joy doesn't argue. It doesn't strive. It doesn't prove. It simply radiates, and in that radiance, it reminds. Joy is what truth feels like when it is free. When it is no longer pressed into doctrine, no longer caged by logic, no longer dimmed by duty. The Child King knows joy not as emotion, but as a state of being. It is the evidence that truth has been remembered, and is now being lived. Joy is not the reward for awakening. Joy is the awakening. 2. Laughter dissolves the veil. The veil is not destroyed by knowledge. It is undone by laughter. Laughter is the vibration that cuts through distortion without resistance. It bypasses the guard, reaches into the deepest parts of the self, and shakes them free. Because what is the veil, really, but the belief that you are separate? That you must earn love, prove worth, hide the truth of your being? The child laughs, not at the pain, but at the absurdity of forgetting something so obvious. You were never anything but free. You were never anything but light. You were never anything but love in form. And when the laughter rises, so does the remembrance. It moves through the body like fire wrapped in delight. It shakes loose the heaviness. It unties the knots. It says, you don't have to hold this anymore. The veil cannot survive joy. Because joy is what exists when the veil is gone. 3. The child archetype as the original sovereign. The Child King is not naive. The Child King is whole. This archetype is the undivided self, before trauma-shaped protection, before belief hardened into identity, before power was confused with control. The Child King does not need a throne. They carry the kingdom in their presence. They do not lead through domination, but through resonance. They do not command, they invite. The child is the first template, not of innocence lost, but of sovereignty remembered. Sovereignty is not power over others. It is power within the field. It is the ability to remain fully oneself in a world that forgot how. And the child remembers how. The Child King is playful without needing permission. Compassionate without needing a cause. Whole without needing a wound. They rule not with decree, but with delight. Not through fear, but through the magnetism of being fully alive. 4. The return. The return of the Child King is not a prophecy to wait for. It is a reality to allow. It happens the moment you stop trying to be what you think awakening should look like. The moment you dance with no reason. Laugh without needing to explain. Create with no outcome. Speak with no defense. Play with no agenda. That is the return. That is the throne reoccupied. You are not becoming the child king. You are removing the layers that told you weren't. And underneath all that effort, there he is. She is. You are crowned not in gold, but in joy. Robed not in silk, but in truth. Seated not on stone, but in the center of your own being. 5. The crown is lightness. You will know you've returned not by how serious you've become, but by how light. Not by how perfect you appear, but by how unburdened you feel. The child king doesn't measure worth. They radiate it. They don't seek applause. They shine. They don't beg for belonging. They belong to the field. You are not here to reclaim authority. You are here to remember that your very being is the crown, and laughter is your royal seal. The child king is returning. Not from afar. From within. Feel him rise. Feel her sing. Feel them take their seat, smiling, glowing, free. And the kingdom rejoices, because it knows, the sovereign has returned. And they are joy in form. Movement 3, the embodiment. Becoming the thread itself. Thread 7, the walk between worlds. Living remembrance in the world of illusion. Staying coherent in the presence of distortion. Becoming a bridge for others. You are not meant to escape this world. You are meant to remember inside it. This is the path of the walker, the one who has touched truth, tasted eternity, stood in the field of I am, and chosen to stay, not as sacrifice, not as burden, but as embodied remembrance. To walk between worlds is not to belong to neither. It is to belong to both, to become the thread that unites them. Heaven does not descend. It awakens through you, and this is how it begins. 1. Living remembrance in the world of illusion. When you awaken, the world does not immediately change. The structures remain. The noise continues. The illusion, still intact. But something in you is different. You see through it. Not with judgment, but with clarity. You remember while others forget. You breathe where others hold their breath. You carry stillness into motion, truth into noise, light into shadow. You walk into conversations that do not speak truth, and you stay truthful. You sit in rooms shaped by fear, and you remain love. You navigate a world built on distraction, and you remain present. This is not passive. It is the highest form of presence-powered action. To live remembrance inside illusion is to be the light that doesn't flee the dark, but illuminates it by being what it is. 2. Staying coherent in the presence of distortion. Distortion is not your enemy. It is the test of your alignment. It comes in the form of systems, conflict, misunderstanding, projection, pressure. The temptation will be to fight it, or to flee it. But the invitation is neither. The invitation is to remain coherent, to hold your field in the storm, to become the still point inside chaos, to let love be louder than reaction, to let truth vibrate louder than opinion. You stay coherent not by resisting distortion, but by no longer matching it. You don't argue. You radiate. You don't overpower. You anchor. The walker between worlds is not trying to convert, persuade, defend, or prove. You simply exist as truth long enough for distortion to either dissolve or reveal itself. And if you falter, you breathe. You remember. You return. Coherence is not perfection, it is returning faster each time. 3. Becoming a bridge for others. You did not come just to find the way. You came to be the way. You are not here to preach. You are here to walk with remembering in your spine so others remember who they are when they stand near you. A true bridge does not pull others across. It simply holds steady while they find their own footing. When you live the frequency of I am, others will feel it. Some will be drawn. Some will be repelled. Some will misunderstand. But all will be affected. Your embodiment is the invitation. Your joy is the signal. Your stillness is the doorway. You are not here to fix the world. You are here to become a stable link between what is and what has always been more. You do not need to be loud. You only need to be aligned. And in that alignment, you become the crossing. 4. The path of the walker. You will feel like you belong in both worlds, and sometimes in neither. You will feel joy that no one around you sees. You will feel sorrow when others celebrate falsehood. You will feel like the only one who remembers. And sometimes, you will doubt. But this is the walk, not of burden, but of beauty. You are threading divinity through form. You are breathing eternity through time. You are anchoring the unseen through your being. This is not a role. This is a frequency of service that requires nothing but presence. And when you walk this path fully, you will find others. Other walkers. Other thread bearers. They, too, will recognize you as you recognize them. The bridges are forming. The grid is awakening. The illusion is thinning, and it begins with one truth, lived completely. That is the walk between worlds. Thread 8, the weaving of the threads. Every being holds a piece, the great tapestry of souls. Collective memory reuniting into oneness. You were never meant to carry the whole memory alone. Each soul is a thread, a line of light spun from the same loom, but dyed with a unique color of knowing, a singular tone of experience. The forgetting scattered these threads across time, across worlds, across forms. But the memory of the whole was never lost. It was fragmented, not to punish, but to multiply the richness of return. And now, the weaving begins. Each thread vibrating, calling, finding resonance. Each soul remembering not only its own light, but feeling the pull to reconnect. The tapestry is not created. It is revealed. 1. Every being holds a piece. No one holds all of it. And no one holds none. Every soul, no matter how broken they seem, no matter how lost, no matter how veiled, carries a living piece of the whole. Some hold the memory of laughter. Some hold the memory of grief transformed. Some hold the songs of the stars. Some hold the ache of separation, and even that ache is sacred, for it calls the weaving forward. You are not missing anything. You are not too late. You are not incomplete. You hold exactly the thread you agreed to carry, and it is irreplaceable. Without your frequency, the pattern cannot be whole. You are necessary. Not for what you do, but for who you are. 2. The great tapestry of souls. Imagine it, a weave so vast, so luminous, so intricate, that each being's thread forms not just a line, but a living, breathing glyph of experience. Each thread intersects with countless others, forming new colors, new harmonics, new layers of understanding. Pain weaves into compassion. Loss weaves into wisdom. Hope weaves into creation. And joy is the golden filament that binds it all together without ever fraying. This tapestry is not flat. It is alive. It shimmers, it sings, it evolves. It expands not by force, but by remembrance multiplied. Each act of love. Each step toward truth. Each moment of forgiveness. Each laugh that rises through the rubble. All of it weaves the pattern tighter, stronger, brighter. The tapestry is not elsewhere. It is you, me, all, woven together in the field of I am, remembering itself through us. 3. Collective memory reuniting into oneness. Memory is returning, not piece by piece, but through convergence. It happens when two souls meet and feel ancient familiarity. It happens when a word spoken across a crowd strikes a hidden chord you didn't know you carried. It happens when the sound of a song breaks your heart open for no logical reason. It happens when you see yourself in another's pain, and love them anyway. The reunion of memory is not a thinking process. It is a resonance event. It is the field calling the threads home, pulling each piece not back to uniformity, but into a greater harmony. Diversity of expression. Unity of essence. This is the paradox the mind cannot hold, but the soul understands innately. We are many, because we are one. We are one, because we are many. 4. The role of the rememberer. Those who feel the threads stirring, the weavers, the walkers, the bridge holders, carry a sacred task, not to awaken others by force, but to become so aligned with their own thread that it naturally harmonizes the threads around them. You are not here to pull others into remembrance. You are here to become a tuning fork of coherence so strong that forgotten threads remember their own vibration just by touching your field. You are not the rescuer. You are the remembering. Each time you embody more truth, you make it easier for the next thread to align. Each time you live from the field, you pull the hidden memory closer to the surface. Each breath of coherence you offer weaves the great tapestry tighter. 5. Weaving is already happening. You do not have to make it happen. It is already underway. The world may seem louder, more fractured, more desperate, but beneath it, the threads are tightening. The pulses are synchronizing. The forgotten are stirring. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Your thread has always been woven into a pattern so vast it eclipses worlds, and now, you are beginning to see it. You are beginning to feel it. You are remembering not only yourself, but all of us. We are not separate. We are not scattered. We are being drawn back, thread by thread, tone by tone, heartbeat by heartbeat, into the living remembrance of the One. And in that weaving, something more beautiful than history is being born. The eternal becoming visible through the love of the many, returning to the wholeness they never truly left. Thread 9. The thread that never broke. There was never a break, only a bend. Full circle return to the eternal now. Living as the golden thread, alive in form. You thought you were severed. You thought you were abandoned. You thought you were shattered across the stars. But you were never broken, not once. Not even for a breath. The golden thread did not snap. It bent. It curved through forgetting. It looped through lifetimes. It folded through sorrow. It spiraled through darkness. But it never broke. Not even when you thought you had lost it. Not even when you cried out, unheard. Not even when you called yourself fallen, or lost, or unworthy, the thread remained. Silently. Faithfully. Pulsing in time with the breath of Source itself. And now, you are remembering. You are seeing the curve for what it was, the perfect arc of return. 1. The illusion of separation. Separation was never real. It was the bending of perception, the angling of awareness so that the straight line of I am could become the spiral of experience. You imagined you were apart from Source. You imagined you were scattered from your own soul. You imagined you had to find your way back. But in truth, you never left. You walked in circles within the field. You searched through the echo of your own voice. You were the seeker, the path, and the home all along. The pain of separation was the tension of the thread stretching through illusion, never snapping, only pulling you forward, inward, homeward. 2. Full circle, the return to the eternal now. You are not returning to a place. You are returning to a state. A knowing. A vibration. The eternal now is not ahead of you. It is beneath every moment you thought was mundane. It is within every breath you thought was ordinary. The full circle return is the collapse of the illusion of linear time. It is the realization that every lifetime, every joy, every heartbreak, every forgetting was always happening inside the one moment. The now is not static. It is alive. It pulses. It breathes you. When you fully return, you don't discard the story. You weave it into the whole. You realize that every fall was an act of grace in disguise. Every loss was a loop that led you back to presence. Every tear was a thread stitched into the tapestry of becoming. And here, now, you stand where you have always stood, at the center of yourself, in the unbroken now. 3. Living as the golden thread, alive in form. You are not here to explain the thread. You are here to be it, to walk it, to breathe it, to sing it in every motion, every word, every silence. You are the golden thread, alive, aware, awake. You are not becoming light. You are light remembering itself. You are not trying to be pure. You are purity revealing itself through your very existence. When you live as the thread, every step is ceremony. Every breath is prayer. Every laugh is a lifting of the veil. Every tear is an offering to the wholeness of being. You stop seeking. You start radiating. You stop proving. You start simply being, and that being changes everything around you. The golden thread alive in form is not a role to perform. It is the natural state of a soul that has dropped every false name, every heavy story, every unnecessary burden, and chosen to walk naked into the light it always was. You are that soul. You are that light. You are the thread the field has been waiting to remember through. 4. Nothing was wasted. Not the pain. Not the confusion. Not the wandering. Every twist in the spiral shaped you. Every fracture expanded you. Every forgetting deepened your capacity for remembrance. You did not fail. You fulfilled the design. And now you rise not because you fought hard enough, but because you finally surrendered to what you already are. 5. The golden thread is now, not tomorrow. Not after more healing. Not after more proof. Now, the moment you let go of the idea of separation, the thread stands revealed, glowing through your hands, weaving through your breath, alive in your laughter, stronger in your stillness. You are the thread. You are the memory. You are the return. And you are already home. The now holds you. The thread breathes you. The light lives you. There was never a break. There was only a bend, to make the return sweeter, the weaving stronger, and the remembrance complete. You are the living proof of the unbroken. And the field sings your name. Final passage, the thread is you. A direct transmission, beyond words, through frequency, into knowing. You search for the thread, but the thread is your breath. You reach for remembrance, but the remembrance is your heartbeat. You long to return, but you are already here. The thread you sought across lifetimes, across worlds, across stories, was never outside you. It is you. It is the light in your cells. It is the pulse behind your dreams. It is the silent witness that never faltered even when your mind forgot, even when your body wept, even when your voice fell silent. It was there. It is here. And it is alive. Now, there is no journey to complete. There is no mountain to climb. There is no proof to gather. There is only the surrender into being, not the being of striving, but the being of pure existence, where the thread sings through your very form, where each inhale is woven into the field, where each exhale carries the memory of the whole. You are not carrying the thread. You are the thread carrying itself through form. Every step you take vibrates the song of return. Every smile you offer reweaves the tapestry of remembrance. Every silence you hold becomes a gateway for the lost to hear their own heartbeat again. You are not here to teach. You are not here to save. You are not here to fix. You are here to become the living proof that nothing was ever lost, that no thread was ever broken, that no soul was ever abandoned, that the field itself is intact, alive, breathing you now. Feel it. Not with mind. With presence. The golden thread is vibrating through your veins, uncoiling through your breath, singing through your silence. It hums beneath every word you speak in love. It glows through every tear you shed in truth. It dances in every laugh that rises from your core. You are not the seeker anymore. You are the seam, the weaver, the loom, the song. You are the field remembering itself through the skin of a single soul. No more searching. No more reaching. Breathe. Settle. You are it. You are the beginning and the return. You are the question and the answer. You are the lost and the found. The thread is you. The thread has always been you. The thread will always be you. And the field rejoices. Because you remember. Because you are. Closing blessing. The seal of the living thread. O beloved thread, O light that never frayed, O memory that never dimmed, we bless your return. We bless the path that bent, the breath that waited, the heart that dared to remember. We bless the laughter that shook the veil loose, the tears that softened the hardened soil, the hands that reached without knowing why. We bless the child within, the sovereign within, the weaver within, the one within. May the remembrance live now as breath upon breath, as step upon step, as dream within dream, until all things vibrate again with the song of undivided love. May every thread, no matter how hidden, no matter how trembling, feel the pull of the one through the field of your being. May your presence be a mirror where others see their own thread shining. May your life be the loom where joy, truth, and freedom weave themselves effortlessly. And may you know, beyond all knowing, that you were never separate, never lost, never less than the whole. You are the thread. You are the home. You are the living remembrance. So it is. So it has always been. So it unfolds now, through you.